to break the business. Hello, Evan.
Hi, how are you?
I am so happy to see you again. Yes.
Two things. One, my partner in Lovecraft, MNDR, Amanda, is also here, so I want to bring her on too.
I just saw that we get a 2-for-1.
Okay, so I want to bring
MNDR is here. Yes.
MNDR, and of course MNDR like started her career under Mark Ronson, has had a million hits with Flume and a billion other people as well. We started Lovecraft together, so I wanted us to be on together to talk about Lovecraft. But
hi.
Before we talk about anything spooky, I want to talk about Don Passman. Is that weird?
Okay, the Don Passman Love Fest is not over. What do you got for us?
So first of all, there's so many things you guys talked about that I wanted to talk about. So one of the things is
we should have brought him on the first segment.
So I grew up in Don Passman's house. Like his son David Passman and I were friends, and I was friends with Danny Passman, who's also a lawyer who works at Gang Tire, and so like I played Dungeons and Dragons in that house. We used to have like this father-son group. We got together and sing Kumbaya, and Don was the leader of it, and he'd play guitar. I grew up in Don's. So I love Don. But I wanted to say that because it's funny. I have these memories of Don as like the father of my friend, and then of course as you grow up and you get into the music industry, you realize, oh, like this isn't just the father of my friend, right? You know, like it's like funny, like you just don't realize that growing up. But Don's such a great guy, and he's so smart. I was curious what you started saying, what are the big lawyers in the music industry, and you stopped at Don. And I was curious who you thought the other legendary, iconic lawyers were that moved the needle in the music industry. And I was thinking about it myself, and I was thinking Grubman, Branca. Like I was trying to think like who else you guys would think are the ones that are like maybe not Passman level. It hasn't hit the needle like that, but like who else did you think?
I mean, can we call Clive Davis an entertainment lawyer? He is a lawyer. I mean,
yeah, okay, Clive.
I mean, Alan Jacoby down here in Miami.
Yeah, sure.
He's a legend. I
was just curious. I was like, oh, I want to hear what this list is. And then you were like Passman, and I was like, yeah, I love Passman. What's the rest? I want to be.
Well, I mean, he's the king to me. Like he was, because he was my first love in for entertainment lawyers, and he's the reason why I'm here. So he's got something special to me. Yeah. But Jacoby's important too, because when I was 17 years old, I camped out in his office in Miami, Florida, until he gave me an internship, just like every day, just showing up and bothering him.
You know what I loved about Passman as a kid, like starting out in the business when I was like a kid, was when I read his book, I felt like I understood it, and everything else that like when I was trying to get in it, like I felt like I was lost, like trying to just get into it, and I felt like he wrote his book in a way that like anyone could understand the music business. And I thought that was really clever because I feel like he could have written it in a way that was just so over everybody's heads. There's a book called The Business of Music, which I'm sure you guys know. It was like it's not the same. It's the opposite of that. And I remember trying to read that one. I was like, nope, I'm gonna just Passman's book. But yeah, I didn't mean to jump. I know we're going to talk about all things spooky, but I just was like, oh my God, we're talking about Don, and I love Don, and I grew up with Don, and I just wanted to say that it was cool.
Oh, that's awesome. And
my question is, do you still play Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, with Danny Passman was our dungeon master, and then me and David and all of our other friends, and Danny Passman would make up all the stories.
Got it.
That's amazing.
No, I don't play anymore, but I wish I played. I would LARP it now if I had the chance.
Oh my God!
If any, you guys know about any Dungeons and Dragons LARPs in LA, I'm super into it.
Pumpkin, I would co-LARP with you on that.
I love it.
If you'll find one, I need you to record it, and we need.
Yeah, for sure.
You've given us way too much amazing stuff to talk about with just like the 15 minutes we have left in the show. And I want to talk to you about ghosts, but you've given us like Donald Passman and like the revelation that you played Dungeons and Dragons with Donald Passman's kids.
Yeah. It's awesome. But let's dive into spooky stuff. I mean, yes, I did see a ghost. I have a picture of a ghost. Wait, I can't hear you. Okay.
You're on mute, I think.
We have officially lost your mic,
He's a ghost.
Ryan. No, it's not on our
Ryan's
end.
voice
It's
is
on
good.
his end. That's what happens when you stream from the hotel room.
Yeah.
But tell us, because I can see it and he cannot.
Okay. So it's actually a previous guest of yours at her video shoot. Recently, you had ZZ Ward on your show, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's ZZ Ward's first music video ever.
Was she wearing one of her awesome hats?
She was wearing one of her awesome hats. She shot her first music video ever, a song called "Better Off Dead," in an abandoned insane asylum in Linda Vista in California, and it actually before it was an asylum was a hospital for railroad workers when they first built the railroads, and then became a spillover hospital for gang violence in the 80s, and then became an asylum, and then it closed down, and they've been using it to shoot things in like Walking Dead and all this stuff. Anyway, so she shot her first video.
That's where I want to do my music video.
It was, let me tell you something. If you weren't within the 20 feet where our generators were, it was pitch black. And we shot it from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And we had a B-roll guy there taking photos. And at one point, he went to take photos of ZZ in the chapel,
Oof,
the hospital.
I've seen it.
And behind the chapel, there's nothing. It's just forest for miles. It's nothing. There's no structures, nothing. There's nothing for anything. So when we got the B-roll pictures back like 2 weeks later from the B-roll photo, we were rolling through the pictures and we saw this photo, which the first photo. Okay, there's ZZ, awesome hat. And
she makes those hats.
And we were like, well, what are the lights over her shoulder? We couldn't figure out what those could be. We were like, there's nothing out there. It was complete forest. And we're on the 3rd floor. So what could be that high that would project lights? And there's no one else in the room with us whatsoever. It was me and the photographer and her. So we couldn't figure out what that was. So we zoomed in on it, and this is what we saw.
No.
What?
Come on.
What?
And if you look at it, you can
Come on. You Photoshopped that.
No, swear to God. You can kind of see
I want to go back.
Go back.
Okay, yeah. I see over her shoulder in that
Okay, you could kind of see like the chin, like a chin, and like cheekbones, and then those are like a kind of a nose shading, and like the eyes are slanted, and then maybe there's a hat or some kind of flannel shirt or something. I think it's a railroad worker, personally. But
Yeah.
On the 3rd floor?
3rd floor, nothing out there. That is for sure like some sort of body or something.
Evan, it is 9:55 p.m. on the East Coast as we're recording this. I don't need to see this scary crap right now.
Just don't go to an abandoned insane asylum.
By the way, I think it's actually they knocked it down and turned it into a retirement home now, which is
That's great.
God, it just continues.
They wanted more people to die in that building is what happened.
Do you actually believe in ghosts? Because I am here to tell you that even though I'm supposed to be a rational business guy and a musician, I actually believe in ghosts.
Well,
Do you
I absolutely
believe in them?
I'm looking at one right now.
not only do I believe that this is a ghost, and I believe in
Yes.
ghosts, but one of my favorite things to do is if you go to like Reddit or like YouTube and you go down these like holes of toddlers talking to things that aren't there. Kids that see things are like waving and they're like, oh, grandma's in the closet. Grandma said that you shouldn't put something in your tea anymore. And it's like, how would the kid know that? Because like it was, you know what I mean? Like it's the crazy.
No, I hate those. They scare me so much.
Evan, I don't need this right now. Okay. I'm first of all, producer Lauren, take that freaking ghost off the screen. I'm freaking out. Second of all right, I'm taking host privilege here to divert this conversation to innocuous Halloween topics. Okay. So I with Halloween coming up, all right. Do you host Halloween parties at your house? Like, is like a tradition you do?
I don't actually. So growing up, I had my mom would host Halloween parties at our house when I was a little kid, and we had all the and that's where I first fell in love with it. I have a 2.5-year-old now. We haven't started hosting yet, but our house is beyond decorated. Like we have 50 bales of hay and like light up pumpkins and giant skeletons. And like, we are like the house of the neighborhood. So on Halloween, tons of people are coming to our house to get candy. We don't have a party inside. I will eventually. But Amanda's been throwing a party at her house with her kids. So, I mean, and I think that, she grew up in that way too. So it's like, we're paying it forward. We're starting to throw parties with our kids, go to parties with our kids.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I want to do something with Amanda and Evan here. All right.
Yeah.
Since you guys are in the Halloween party spirit, and maybe you either host them or you're about to host them, I want to ask you each some rapid fire questions to test how permissive you are about what sort of people you invite to your Halloween party. All right. Do you let anybody in, or do you require like a certain level of commitment to the holiday? Okay. So I'll send this first one to Amanda. Amanda, would you invite someone to your Halloween party that is the person that takes them more than 30 seconds to explain their costume to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
That level of nuance and dedication is highly welcomed.
I'm the decline of print media, obviously. All right, Evan, this one's for you, okay? Person who has to turn their Halloween costume sideways to fit into your front door.
Oh, man, that's so funny. I mean, I just wouldn't hate on a Halloween costume, but I think that's really funny that they have to do that to get into a front door.
Because like they're knocking crap over and
yeah. They're probably cool if it's an outside party. I think an inside party, you're right. There's some liability there.
That's an important distinction. That's great. All right, Amanda, how about the person who has worn the exact same low effort costume every Halloween since 2007?
That's me. This is so weird. That's me. I'm so.
It's me too. I'm always Harry Potter.
Yep. Yeah. I would say like by the time.
I'll send you a picture. I'll send you a picture for the last 15 years every year.
Okay, please and thank you.
And and also I would argue there's a Harry Potter Easter egg Evan's wearing nearly every day I've seen you for the past 10 years.
Here. Let me give this one to Gideon King, all right? Whoa, there you go. Nice snitch. So, Gideon King, for your Halloween party, are you inviting the person who says they're dressed as Tom Brady, but it's literally just them wearing an old Tom Brady jersey and a pair of jeans?
First of all, I reject the question. And here's why. Because
I know.
I don't have Halloween parties. I stay home, I play guitar, and I wait for it to be over. And secondly, Evan is coming off as the jolly Halloween guy with hay mazes. But that, to me, is just Jack Nicholson in The Shining. That's basically what that is to me. So I know I'm supposed to be nice to the guests, but that's what I'm hearing here.
Without an axe. I mean,
without an axe. Yeah, so.
Without an axe to grind. I think that I really, I got to be honest. I don't, just to answer when you asked Gideon though for a second, like I think when somebody comes in and it's really half-assed, it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
If you tried really hard, but I don't understand it, I appreciate that. At least you were trying to get something across. I went as a Perrier bottle once, and no one understood why I was going as a Perrier bottle, and I'm kind of embarrassed of it now because of who I was imitating. But
I remember that year because I was like, there was one year.
Yeah, because the night before Halloween or 2 nights before Halloween, Kanye and Lil Peep, or I think it was Peep or Pump, one of them went on Saturday Night Live dressed as a Perrier bottle and a Fiji bottle. And my wife and I thought it'd be funny if we went to the Halloween parties dressed as a Perrier bottle and a Fiji bottle, and people were like, "What are you guys, just water?" Like no one understood. I was like, "No, it's Kanye and Lil Pump," and they're like,
"Man, Evan's really pretentious."
Yeah, it was stupid. It was really stupid, but it was fun to make them. We made them.
All right. Well, we got one more here for Amanda. All right, the last Halloween guest, and it's a twofer. All right, couple wearing a couple's costume who get into an argument within 10 minutes of arriving at your house, and now you have to watch Tinkerbell and Captain Hook yell about picking up Captain Hook's mom from the airport next week.
I love that.
How do I feel about that?
Yeah, would you, like, you're inviting those people to your Halloween party?
No, that would be a spooky bummer vibe, and I like to keep it way spooky fun vibes.
What
at my
if-
Wrong
party.
kind of
What if
spooky.
that was their costume, though?
Whoa.
Ooh.
What
Mind
if the whole
blown.
costume was Tinkerbell
Yeah.
and Captain Hook arguing about picking Captain Cook's mama?
Having a domestic argument.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I'm with Amanda. I thought that the costume was like couple on the rocks
Yes.
who are
And
dressed up for Halloween and getting in a
that-
fight at your party.
Yes.
It-
Yeah,
it's-
sure.
That's Will
If there's an immersive costume narrative going on, I 100% can
Oh,
sign that.
they're winning the costume contest at that point.
kinda love that.
100%.
I love that idea
Yeah.
so much.
All right. I got to ask at least one question about the album. So
Yeah.
we love Lovecraft stuff. Like
Thanks.
we listen to it every year. I love every time like I'm watching a TV show about Halloween and I hear one of your songs that got synced and I'm like, oh, there it is. And you guys make Halloween so great with your music. And I'm curious, when you've been doing this for years now, and when you started the Lovecraft project, did you envision that it was going to become as big as it is and that it would take over your life this much, or was this just meant to be like a silly diversion that you do every October?
I think we hoped that we could do this forever. I mean, honestly, when we started it, and I don't want to sound kind of like hokey about it, it was because we love Halloween and Halloween music so much, and we just felt like we owed it to the next generation to soundtrack the future of spooky seasons. And we felt like, at most of the Halloween music we listened to is 40 years old, and we've been listening to it since we were kids. Even Monster Mash being 70 years old, but everything from Rockwell and Oingo Boingo and Warren Zevon and I mean the specials and everything is decades old, and all of these Ray Parker Jr. It's just there was nothing new and iconic, and so we felt as a group of songwriters, 7 of us to start, that we had the ability and the love for Halloween, the understanding of Halloween and horror culture, that we should take our talents to South Beach. No, that we should take our talents and apply them to writing new Halloween music for the next generation of spooky kids. And then people started syncing it in TV shows and in commercials. And then Spotify and Apple started playlisting it. And then people started asking us to curate music like for Spirit Halloween stores and like things like that. And like all of a sudden it was like, oh, like this could actually be something more than just our fun, let's create music for spooky. Like we could actually turn this into something bigger. And now it really has taken over our lives. Like we're at conventions, we're like friends with like the Halloween community, which is like haunters and like immersive theater creators and directors and actors and scare actors. And I mean, just this whole crazy world of people that we never would have met other than our shared affinity for everything spooky. And they don't care or know what most of the stuff that we do outside.
Or
Like,
care,
like
which is amazing.
People come up to me at Halloween conventions, they're like, do you know Lovecraft? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in Lovecraft. They're like, oh my God. And like down the conversations, like, so what else do you do? Like, they have no idea or care who we are or anything else or anything. They literally purely love what we do for school.
Like,
It is really nice because we have credits from like Amy Winehouse, J Lo, Beyonce, Rihanna. Not to name drop, but they don't care. The point of the story is they absolutely do not care. They care that we did the music for Chucky season 3's bumper.
Yeah, or like the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, or like
Yes.
like Hocus Pocus 2 last year, right? We had Skeleton Samples and Hocus Pocus 2 that got so much love. That's the stuff that they care about.
I just love that there's a generation of people that are learning about you through Lovecraft, and then one day they're looking at your Wikipedia and they're like, hey, do you know the Lovecraft guys also do songs with Mark Ronson?
Literally, they don't even. I don't even think they would care. Like I think they just. I think they're more impressed that we did a song with Bruce Campbell or John Kassir, the Crypt Keeper, like
yes.
or Christopher Young, the composer for Hellraiser. Like that stuff is more impressive to them. Like not, I don't know.
And honestly, I think one of the most awesome things, but like I never would expect that we would have a spooky brand ambassador character that is originally we just used. for marketing on social media, because there was such a demand to show who are they, and I was like, well, none of us want to be forward facing at all, not because of the project, just because none of us want to do that right now in our life, in terms of an artist project. So we created like a Eddie from Iron Maiden meets Rob Halford character named Skeleton Sam, and now he gets hired to go to haunts across America now. Now I'm like touring with him.
It's crazy.
Like
people are hiring our made up character from a made up song to show up at their events and take pictures with their people.
Yes,
it's the most bizarre thing ever.
I'm like managing a skeleton guy dressed in a leather biker outfit, and he goes to events and people. He's famous in the community. They die for him. They die.
How does the Skeleton Sam like work in the real world? Is this like an actor you pay and you dress him up? Is it one of you? Am I not? Is it sworn to secrecy?
No, it's actually a close friend of ours who's in an immersive theater group, a really popular immersive theater group in LA that we've become close with. That we go to all of their events, and they're just incredible at what they do. That's
it. There's Skeleton Sam for our live streaming audience. Okay, you can find out more about our guest's work by visiting lovecraft.net. That's LVCRFT.net. Check out the latest album, folks. It is terrific. We're going to play a track from it to close out the show here. We are going way over time for radio, but who cares? I'm having way too much fun. Let's close with this real quick. I'd love to ask each of you our final question that we ask all of the folks on the show. We'll ask you first, Amanda. Do you have any last tips for the indie creators out there to help them move their careers forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Outside of Lovecraft, I'm MNDR. Had a couple record deals. I'm an independent artist, and I really built MNDR one fan at a time. And I have a career based on that idea, and because of that, I was able to collaborate with Mark Ronson and Flume and Evan Bogart and John Hills and great artists and Killer Mikes, etc. And really, that's from being part of a community and participating in a community. And if you want people to care about what you're doing, make yourself part of your music scene and your music community. And we're doing the same thing with Lovecraft. Like, it's one fan at a time, and they will scream the loudest for you if you put the time in with people. So that is always my biggest advice for independent artists.
I dig that. Evan, same question.
You need a 3-song demo, and no, I'm just kidding. It's a full circle of the conversation.
You know what's so funny about the Donald Passman book, and how like for years the Donald Passman book said that like the way to get a record deal is to have like a lawyer, make a 3-song demo in your basement and have an entertainment lawyer shop your demo, as if any record executive gives a damn what Ryan Corella thinks is good music. I still have artists coming to me like asking to shop their demos. I'm like, you read his book.
I will tell you this, and I'll give you my answer in 2 seconds. But I will tell you this. When I first started in the industry, it was in the second half of the 90s. I worked at Interscope, and I came up in the mailroom and then the A&R department under Tom Wally, and learned, when they had, No Doubt and Bush and Marilyn Manson and 9 Inch Nails and Helmet and Smash Mouth and Tupac and everyone you could ever think of. And it was an amazing time to be there. And as the up and coming kid in the A&R department, every day they would get demos in, like press packs in, right? Cassettes.
Press kits, yeah.
Press kits in, okay? And the press kits, if they came from Dawn, or they came from Paterno, or they came from Kim Guggenheim, who just passed away, unfortunately, and they came from these lawyers, they were accepted. If they didn't know the lawyers, no joke, trash. Then when they opened them, they would have me take the cassette out, put it on a table with all these other cassettes, and throw the press kit out. Then 3 or 4 weeks later, an A&R guy would listen to the cassette, and if he liked it, he'd go, hey, call them and get a press kit. This is the craziest thing ever. They literally have to resend an entire new press kit because they didn't want to keep taking up. Anyway, so the 90s, when what he said in that book was that was like, if it didn't come from a reputable lawyer in the 90s, and they didn't listen to it. It was, but now obviously we're ancient. I sound like I was in, before the turn of last century.
You mentioned Peter Paterno. He's also a legend in entertainment lawyers.
He's
great.
But I'm going to double down on what Amanda said, which is I've watched the power of community build careers out of nothing, and that goes for whether you're doing it the old school way, which I still love, which is hitting the road and making a name for yourself, building yourself regionally, locally, and then jumping on a tour and supporting somebody and doing that. And that goes same for that. It still makes sense to go out there to the merch booth after your show, go meet people, go talk to people, go tell people your story, all that stuff, right? But all that stuff happens now in Discord channels. All that stuff happens now between TikTok creators and creator meetups, influencer meetups. Like all that stuff happens in different ways as well now. And it is really all community driven. I feel like the power of community is like a rising tide lifts all ships. If you pick the right community, one person goes, the whole community goes. And we watch it time and time again where these like crews of genres and subgenres pop and these new sounds pop, new versions of mix of trap jazz and like weird things that get mixed together because these communities are doing it and they all come up at the same time and it's been really exciting. I think it's been kind of exciting to see all this new music come out because of this community building. So I'll double down, build community.
Love it. And grateful for the community that we have here this week. Our thanks to Evan Bogart, Amanda Warner, Gideon King, producer Lauren, and all of you viewers and listeners for making this week's episode so special. Thank you all for checking out Break the Business. We're going to close with Every Day is Halloween by Lovecraft here, and we'll see you next week on Break the Business.
Thank you.